Collective. I hope you're all doing well and staying safe. Today is Saturday, July 19th. It's 9:05 a.m. in the morning. And I just wanted to see what comes out for the day. Let's see what the next 24 hours holds for us. I've been seeing the crows a lot. I mean, well, they do have a couple of nests around here. So there's like about 6 crows I've seen in this location and near where I live. So it's kind of cool. I remember I was telling a friend that the first time I ever saw a crow was when I went to London, which is pretty cool. So let's go into what's the news. The what's the news deck. As soon as I take the deck out, look, kinky ways. Please. I know it's the weekend, right? You could be kinky all week though. But let's see what comes out. So this reading is for all signs. But let's see what comes out for us. Well, the first card that came out was bye Felicia, peace and out, thank you, next, leaving, not caring. Okay. You know, I feel like that card, it really doesn't go with it, because if you see this, it says bye Felicia, peace out, whatever, leaving, not caring. I don't think so, because you know, if you don't care, there will be no warm embrace. There won't be no eyes closed, like, oh, I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss the way you smell. I'm gonna miss the way you feel in my arms. I don't think it's that kind of bye Felicia. You know, I don't think. No, laughter, happiness, joy, healing. You know, I feel like I think some of you may be facing a difficult decision with having to leave somebody behind, and the card came out anyway. I think some of you are facing a difficult decision to leave somebody behind because you want to find, I guess you want to find happiness, joy, peace. You may not be happy with a situation, but you feel like if things aren't going to change, then it makes no sense to kind of like, if you take away this, the kinky ways and sexual connotation that this card has, you are basically punishing yourself, because you know, sometimes it's about punishment, you know, and it's like that pleasurable punishment. But I feel like in some way, this, if you were to deprive yourself of being happy or being in a connection that can bring you happiness and joy, in a way, you're kind of torturing yourself. You know, you're depriving yourself of something that you want and that you need in a connection. And though you may have deep feelings for this person, they may not be at a place to provide that for you. And that's something I can resonate with a past person, you know. Yeah, I can definitely resonate. So a past person, okay? I'm healed and everything, but I feel like some of you may be going through that situation too. Like maybe you were keeping yourself in a situation and you were trying everything you could to make it work, but in a way you were harming yourself. You know, it wasn't fun anymore. It felt like you had to put on a mask and get to work. I don't know, for some reason I'm just seeing somebody that has to put a mask on and they have to like really be focused and everything, and it's like you have to put on a facade just to be in this relationship. Maybe in the relationship you were pretending to be happy. I know these cards like have different, but this is the imagery I'm seeing, because you know, when you go by Felicia, you ain't hugging anybody, you ain't closing your eyes looking like you're savoring the last hug, the last moment. This is more so like, I don't want to go, but I have to. You know, I have to say goodbye. You know, you and this person may have had good times together, but in a way you were depriving yourself of something, you know, but not in a good way. It was more harmful than anything. And yeah, that's what I'm getting from these 3 cards. We could go into tarot to clarify further what the situation could be, because it doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic situation. I mean, sometimes the party can end, you know, and I said the party can end, but you can have friends, and you know, your relationship with your friends change, and it's like you have to pretend to be a certain way to be around them, and it's like, no, that's like, I should be able to freely be myself, be my authentic self. I shouldn't have to present myself to be a certain way just so I can maintain this friendship. No, it shouldn't be that way. You should be your true authentic self. So let's clarify the By Felicia card. I'm gonna go into the Wild Reflections Tarot, which is one of my favorite decks that I really don't use that often lately, because I don't know, I love tarot decks that I end up finding, and I see other tarot readers having, and it's like, wow, that looks so cool. Like, I recently got the Edgar Allan Poe deck, and I know this is a side tangent, and I want to go to his cottage in the Bronx one day, but I want to take the cards with me. I want some of that energy, you know. And his wife, who so happened to be his cousin, she passed away in the cottage. Yeah, I think it was before, I don't know if it was before or after he died. I had to reread that. I was reading about him. Very interesting story. Very sad story, you know. Okay, let's see. What is this By Felicia? And I saw Missy from Saltwater Hills Tarot. Oh my god, I love her. Like, she's so blunt and everything. And I'm not like, I could be like that, but she's like, she's savage. But I love that. I love that about Aquarius. I love that about Aquarius. They don't mince any words. They're really good friends to have, honestly. Very inspirational too, I would say, motivating. You know, if you're like someone who wants to find a friend that will get you to do things for the community, volunteer and stuff, they're like, to me, from my experience, they're the best friends to have. Okay, let's see what By Felicia is. By Felicia. By Felicia. What is this By Felicia spirit? I hope you can hear me. I'm trying to talk as loud as I can with my earbuds on. Oh, this is By Felicia. Okay. No card really wants to come out for By Felicia. I think okay, Page of Wands. So some of you may be dealing with a young fire sign, a younger fire sign, because Page of Wands is a younger fire sign. This could be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy, or it could just be somebody who embodies the energy of a fire sign. Someone very vivacious, lively, passionate, generous, jovial, I would say. This, maybe you feel like, you know, maybe in this connection there was some sort of passion. Maybe this is what this person could provide you. And if you consider we had the kinky ways, maybe in this connection that you were in or are leaving behind, it seems to be a very passionate one, but it's like you want more than that. You want more than passion, you know. Let's see what else comes out. Yeah, the Lovers. Yeah, you wanted more than a passionate relationship. You wanted something that was soulful, connecting. I don't know, I love the way these lovers are depicted in this card, or in this deck. The Lovers card is depicted in this deck because it's just like you're just looking at each other lovingly. You know, it's like, I only have eyes for you, you only have eyes for me. And maybe that does exist in a relationship, but it's like you had to make that difficult decision. You know, you're like, is this something that I want? Is this gonna fulfill me in any way? Yeah, it could fulfill you, and you know, it could fulfill you, but at a deeper soul level, can it do that? You know? And especially if someone is still in the stage of figuring out where their life is headed, it's like the focus definitely needs to be on them, you know, and what they're trying to build for themselves. And you know, maybe you're gaining that understanding that, you know, you won't be a priority, and you have to accept that. All right, let's see what else comes out. Oh, Yeah, you want something that you can see growth, something that you can really invest in, something that you can see have a stable, secure results in the end. You know, because the Ace of Pentacles is about planting that seed, but it's that seed that could grow into something longer lasting, you know? And maybe you want a long lasting, loving relationship, but this person, whoever they are, whoever you may be saying goodbye to, they may be just someone who can only offer you something that may seem temporary, you know, at the moment, you know. And passion dies out. Look at that. I started shuffling, but I saw the Judgment card was yeah, you have to make that decision, you know. It's like you have to decide whether you're gonna be, you had to settle for less or go seek out something more. And when I say seek out, it's not necessarily you're going out looking for someone, you know, but it's more like, you know, waiting for the right person, you know, taking care of yourself, investing in yourself, reinvesting in yourself. Sorry, that was so weird. Reinvesting in yourself, you know, putting the energy that you were putting towards this person brought back to yourself so that, you know, you can attract the type of love or relationship that you really want. I resonate with that, definitely. I resonate with that. Yeah, you want like the happiness, you want the harmony, you want the family, you want there just to be peace, and just rainbows and butterflies, you know? Rainbows and butterflies. And whiskers on kittens. I think that's how the song goes. I feel like I've clarified this enough, you know, because I feel like when you think of happiness, joy, laughter, this is what the Ten of Cups is all about, you know. And if you consider kinky ways, that could be the Page of Wands, just someone who can only provide you with a, you know, like passionate relationship, nothing more than that, because that's all they can really invest in. It may be all they can invest or all they want to invest, you know. And so it depends on your situation, you know, especially if you and this person don't have a defined relationship and you don't know if they're dealing with other people. So you're not entirely sure if they're entertaining other people, you know, and the kinky ways could come with that too. You know, they may be just looking to explore, not really wanting to settle down with one person. Maybe they just want to play the field and see what's out there for them. And you're like, no, I'm done with that. You know, you could go do you. And this is where the bye Felicia could come in. You know, like, bye Felicia, this isn't for me. You know, as much as it pains me, I'm going to have to say goodbye. You know? Yeah, so the Four of Wands, yeah, you want there to be celebration. You want there to be stability. You want there to be the happiness. You know, you want there to be something that you continue to build off of, you know, with the Ace of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups. You know, you want the ultimate happiness, the ultimate fulfillment. You know, we have the Ace of Cups here. So with you probably leaving the situation behind, you're opening yourself up to, you know, rebuilding and reestablishing that love connection you have for yourself, or, you know, you're taking care of yourself, you're nurturing yourself, you're providing for yourself, but then it's also, you're opening yourself up to possibly meeting someone new too. So you don't have to close yourself off because of this situation, but, you know, like boundaries, you know, that's my new word for me in my season. This season is about boundaries, you know, establishing boundaries. Look at that. Oh my God, didn't I say this? That, yeah. With you walking away, because this is the shadow energy, right? This could be something that you don't know, you don't see coming. You moving away from a situation that is not fulfilling you in the way that you know you deserve, you're going to allow yourself to receive what you do, you know? And who knows, it could be with the same person. You know, with the Knight of Wands showing up. Maybe this person will step up, you know, to the plate, take more action, you know, because the Page is more a messenger. It's more communication than anything, but the Knight is about taking action. So this person may step it up, but the idea of you walking away and no longer, you know, connecting with them in any way, that may cause them to step up Or you may be meeting somebody else, you know, who will be taking action. They don't necessarily have to be a knight. You know, they could just be someone who is just showing initiative. They're taking initiative. And that's sexy as fuck, you know? Sexy as fuck. Look at the Ace of Wands too. And then I say rainbows and butterflies. Look at the butterflies right there. It's like something is going to bloom. Something is going to grow. You know, we had the Ace of Pentacles. We see the Ace of Wands. And then we see the Ace of Cups. I mean, come on. It doesn't get better than that, right? Yeah, victory. Success. You know? It's like that. Your proverbial knight in shining armor is on his way. But it's like you have to walk away from something in order to allow there to be a clear path for the person you want to come to you, to make it to you. You know? So I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.